Yeah, no, that's cool.
That's fine. So we're live now. So good evening, folks. Welcome back. Hope everybody's safe and well and stuff. So tonight we have another new, I'm going to say guest, but it's guests, plural. Not one, but two. I know there's only one sitting there, but the other one is floating about in the background. See there, she's there. We've got Ash and we've got Hollie from Project Paranormal, and they're based I want to say Devon. I was going to say Cornwall.
We're around like the Plymouth area, so we're close to Cornwall.
Aye. Well, I was near enough. They're down south, right down the bottom.
Yeah, it's down south. Yeah, southwest.
As far as you can go without getting wet, basically. Hi, Eileen. Eileen runs Phantom Seekers Paranormal. She's from the east coast of Scotland, but we don't hold that against her. She's a lovely, lovely lady. She's very small. She's only about 4'2". She's like a wee munchkin, but she's an absolutely brilliant young lady. Hey, Eileen, I'm buttering you up, Eileen.
Let's praise Eileen.
Importing jam or cream first. What?
Oh dear. See, I'm not native to Devon, but personally, I go cream first.
Yeah, cream first.
Personally, I go cream and then I go jam.
Right, you need to tell me who you're talking about because I don't have a clue.
Scones. I don't know what you guys call it. Scones.
Scones.
Yeah. So like the scones, if you put them on, it's like cream and then jam, or jam and then cream. It's like a war between Devon and Cornwall and around the UK. Who puts jam and who puts cream first, and what way is right?
I put margarine on mine. Does that make a difference?
You put what on?
Margarine.
Oh, margarine.
Aye, we don't do jam or cream. Well, my partner does, but I don't. No, a scone should just be margarine. There's our Laura, and Laura's one of ours. Hello to our lovely guest. I know it's you again, but yes, it is me again, Laura. She only left here about an hour ago. I mean, I said, oh shucks, you're welcome. You're a lovely lady, as is Laura. It's a perennial argument with the. All right,
it is.
Just stick margarine on it. That solves all the problems.
It's like another thing as well that's also like a war between Devon and Cornwall. Believe it or not, Devoners created the Cornish pasty.
Right.
It was created in Devon, but it's called a Cornish pasty. They stole it. But I'm not from Devon, so like, don't come at me if anyone's from Cornwall.
I always called Devon Ambrosia. I used to drive the trucks for years, and I done Devon, Cornwall, and all that quite a wee bit, and I always called it Ambrosia country. You know, the Ambrosia custard. Because I remember Laura said, but I miss you. It's fine, Laura. You'll see me tomorrow, so just calm down. You will be okay. Go to bed early, and tomorrow will come quicker. That's what my mum always used to say. The first time I ever drove down there, it was a beautiful day, and driving to the country, and I was looking at the fields, and I thought, that looks just like the picture on the custard tins. You know that Ambrosia custard, it's got the green fields and everything on it. Or am I losing you?
No, I think I know what you're on about. Behind the Ambrosia sign, there's like a picture, isn't there, with the hills and everything?
Aye.
Yeah, I think I know what you're on about.
Well, it looked just like that when the first time I seen it, and so I decided to call it Ambrosia country.
To be fair, I do kind of see it because, like, especially when you're going through Devon, you're going past Dartmoor, and there is like rolling hills everywhere. There's no flat at all.
It puts you in the mood for custard, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. I love a good Ambrosia rice pudding as well, so it's just touching.
I don't know if I prefer the custard or the rice or both. I think I prefer the Ambrosia rice. Actually,
I love
as opposed
pudding.
to the custard. You see,
as traditional rice pudding in the slow cooker with the skin on top.
Oh no! I remember at school, you used to get the custard, and everybody used to fight over the skin.
Oh, the skin was amazing. The skin's the best bit.
It's disgusting.
No, it's
scrape it off and, oh no.
God, it's so good.
It looks like something you cough up on a bad day. I mean,
Oh, no. Oh, now you say it, I'm never going to look at it the same again. That's so gross.
so if I put you off that for life,
Yeah, I'll just eat the rice from now on. I don't want the skin anymore.
I mean, if you leave the rice lying long enough, you get that wee kind of skin on it as well.
But you watch, I'll forget next time. I'll have it, put the skin in and everything, and when it's in my mouth, I'll remember what you said and be like,
well, I'm glad I could be of assistance, you know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I don't do it for thanks. I don't do it for thanks or praise or gratitude. I do it because it's the kind of person I'm to like to help. A wee dod of jam on rice pudding. Paranormal, dear. Get in with it. Or get on with it, I think she means. Right, so, as per Laura's instructions, see, I told you this, Ashley, sometimes your shows might touch on the paranormal. You know, sometimes.
For a split second.
Aye, come on, a couple of minutes. That's basic. That's all you need sometimes.
Exactly.
You know, it's good to be different.
It's our first one anyway, so we're here to make friends.
Exactly. This is an introduction live to Ashley and Hollie. You will be seeing Hollie. She's a wee bit busy now. She is floating about. She will be joining us, so don't worry.
She will be eventually. Yeah, her son's wide awake at the moment. Bless him. He's under a year old, so he's kind of fighting his sleep.
He wants to sleep, but he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
You know, you said same to me.
Fighting it.
Laura does a mystery show. Laura's one of yours. She's just recently started the mystery show on her channel.
Oh, yeah.
And that, after the last show, I was in the chat and I told her to get on with it. So that's Laura getting her own back, basically. Right, so Ashley and Hollie run Project Paranormal. And so I'm going to ask you, Ashley, how did you come about, you know, when started it all off?
I think it was, when was it? 2021 we met. Because we both got pregnant in 2022, didn't we? So we met during the Euros 2021. So they're 2020 Euros, but they did it in 2021. It's really confusing. Anyway, that was the first time I ever met Hollie, and we both instantly clicked. It's like we've known each other for years. And we realized that we both absolutely love crystals and the paranormal and witchy stuff. And we then, you found the group that we go with on Facebook, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we started going on ghost hunts every month with this one group. And it's been a thing ever since. So in 2022, we decided to come up with Project Paranormal. And kind of the whole idea behind Project Paranormal was to kind of record and keep a diary of our spooky adventures, that kind of thing. We really love to do that sort of stuff. And Hollie also had Manifesting Destiny, which is the one she uses to talk through the comments and everything. I don't know whether you've seen her in there.
That confused me last night. See, I watched a wee bit of your show, your live last night, and you Project Paranormal and Manifesting, that what you just said. Yeah. And I'm thinking, that's that lassie Hollie. So I thought she was, so that kind of confused me a wee bit, but now you've cleared that up for me.
So Manifesting Destiny is Hollie. When, our kind of, I guess you could say dream or aspiration is to become big enough to take out our own groups and stuff, and we're going to use Manifesting Destiny as our merch side of things. So Project Paranormal will be filming our paranormal adventures and stuff like that, evidence and stuff. And then, we were for example, with the hoodies that she's, I decided to bring mine today because I didn't have a cardigan. But she'd actually printed these, and they're holographic.
I like the shiny design to it.
We just ironed them on, and now we both have matching black hoodies, and we're like, in the future we could also do black hoodies with this holographic sign on them, like the pentagram behind Project Paranormal in our logo, and sell it through that. Sell, I don't know, like paranormal patches and stuff like that as well, for like obviously cheaper. But yeah, it was just
No, that's
something.
nice.
Project Paranormal was just something fun that we started in 2022, and since then it's kind of like we started taking it a little bit more seriously now, because our future plans are to be a big enough group to take out our own groups, and like once we start driving, experiment and kind of go here, there, and everywhere. Really, wasn't it? We've got plans to go up to Liverpool to Newsham Park Asylum. That's one of like top of our list, and we've hopefully got Shepton Mallet Prison next year as well. Hopefully, we'll be driving by then.
You get any plans to keep going on the M6 further north?
Once we're driving nationwide, honest to God. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Scotland. My biggest plan, if I was ever to go to Scotland, was to do the vaults.
And the Edinburgh vaults.
Always wanted to do the vaults. I don't know why. I've just always wanted to do them.
A lot of people like them, but we've done the vaults. I think it's Sarah's my partner. She's got earplugs in. She's watching Charmed, so she can't hear a word I'm saying. I think we've done. Laura be able to tell us we've done the vaults like 3 times. Eh? Oh, you can't hear them. All right. How many times have you done the vaults? 3.
3, I think, aye.
We've done the vaults are not so good, too much noise. You talk about Nidgy Street. See, there's 3 sets of vaults in Edinburgh. There's Blair Street and there's Nidgy Street and Nidgy Street South. I keep getting the Nidgy Street ones mixed up. One of the sets of vaults is above ground, and it's right adjacent to a nightclub. A pub or a nightclub, so you got not a lot of noise pollution. We did them once, and to be honest with you, it was crap. We ended up getting home early. It's just too much.
The ones I know of, there's a spirit in there called Mr. Boots.
That's the Blair Street vaults.
Right.
Nidgy Street, they're noisy. The other ones, you get downstairs to them. That would be Nidgy Street South. We've done them 3 times, I think. Brown some hit and missed twice with me, not twice with me. Brown some hit and missed twice with me, once not with me. 3 times. No, Mr. Boots is Blair Street. I'm sure Mr. Boots is Blair Street. I bet you I'm wrong. I hate being wrong.
So it's like Mr. Boots as a child, and there's a woman. I swear it's a woman that hates pregnant women. Something like that. But I swear it's a woman, or it's a man that hates pregnant women.
I might be wrong. I've always thought that Mr. Boots was in the Blair Street vault. Mr. Boots, give the island a shout if you get to Edinburgh soon. Mr. Boots was reported being a sort of caretaker back when the vaults were, being used basically. Mr. Boots is in Banshee. All right, I sit corrected. But he wasn't a very nice guy. Basically, as the story goes. So there have been quite a few reports of people getting pushed and shoved and all sorts. But the vaults are amazing. We love Edinburgh. We've done a lot in Edinburgh, and it's just the whole atmosphere. And the old town on the Royal Mile and stuff like that.
Isn't there a I swear it's in Scotland, in Edinburgh. There's a famous graveyard that is. I think it's I might be wrong, but there's. I think it's the only graveyard either in the UK or in the world that still has graves that have bells above it. And like back way back when, I think it was like the Black Death or something, I don't know, but like people would be buried and accidentally buried alive. So they had like strings with bells in them just in case they buried them alive, and they could ring the bell.
That's where the saying "Saved by the Bell" originates from.
So yeah, Saved by the Well. Yeah, exactly that. And I swear it comes from a famous graveyard in Edinburgh.
Well, you've got Greyfriars. We've done a lot in Greyfriars, and we've never noticed, but you've got Greyfriars, you've got Canongate, you've got St Cuthbert's, you've got Calton Hill. We've never been in Calton Hill. I know in Calton Hill there's still a watchtower stands. Back in the day, the rich families would hire somebody to keep watch at night time. So that possibly could be an island, could possibly tell us. Mr. Bush is South Street. I also books on Greyfriars. If interested, that's Greyfriars. If you want any books on it, you get your address, and Laura's got quite a few books. You can send them down. But I see Greyfriars, Canongate, St Cuthbert's, which sits right on Princess Street in Calton Hill. It's possibly Old Graveshead Bells, not noticed any now though. St Cuthbert's sits. Island, see where Princess Street joins on with Lothian Road at it's a big hotel, Caledonia Hotel. Right.
That's one that rings a bell. That name rings a bell, but like they don't have the ropes on them anymore. Apparently they're like graves, and they have a bit that comes over and it's still got a bell on it. But there's no like rope or anything. It's just a bell.
It might be. You've got me curious about that now. Actually, we've never ever. I mean, we've been around Greyfriars. I don't know, lost count of times. We've never noticed any in Greyfriars, so it possibly is one of the other two.
I have a funny feeling. The way I learnt about it, it might have been an older Ghost Adventures episode. Possibly. I'll have a look because I've got. I think it's on. No, it's not Prime, is it? It's Discovery. It's on Discovery. I'll have a look because we've got Discovery. I'll have a look through all the seasons and stuff and see when they went to Edinburgh and the Edinburgh Vaults. I know it was way, way, way back in like their early seasons and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it was on that one I found out about the bell.
Eileen's going to check in Cuthbert's as well. Because you've got me curious now as well, though.
I'm pretty adamant it's in Scotland, 100%. I have a funny feeling it's in Edinburgh, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it was on the Edinburgh Vaults episode that they did. I'll have to double check, and then what I'll do is I'll like film it on my phone or something and put it up and tag you in it or something, and just be like, look, this is what I was on about, and it's this graveyard.
No, that's fine though. If you find it, then I just I don't know how to tag somebody in something. That's it, because I'm tech thick. Sarah does all her tech stuff. I'm hopeless when it comes to computers and all the rest of it. I do the chatting side of things, and that's about it, really. So when you started you started off and you started Project Paranormal as a bit of fun, basically. But you've got plans, which I think is a good thing. You've got a vision, if you like to call it that, maybe.
Yeah, 100%.
Too easy to, and it's good that it works when people in your team or group are friends.
Yeah.
And you think alike. That's, I mean, it's Sarah, Laura, and myself now, and Sarah's my partner, but Laura's our friend as well. And we used to have a much bigger team. I don't know, 2-3 years ago, but it was too much hassle. It was too much disagreeing, and trying to set investigations up was a nightmare. And so there was a big argument one night. We just says, bugger it, and everybody just get canned, basically, most of them. And now it does work a lot better. So have you always had an interest in the paranormal for when you were young, or?
So me personally, my first paranormal experience was when I was like 7 or 8. I used to see a man at the end of my bed. My mum would never believe me, ever believe me. And it was always the lights always like, or the darkness is playing tricks on your eyes and stuff like that. And I'm just like, no, I'm seeing a man, and this is every single night. Like, it's just, she was like, it's just your mind. Just go to sleep. And then a lady that she used to go past in the playground, I can't actually remember her name. I know her son was called Ellis. But she was a medium, and she was like, I want you to come over and I want you to have a reading, that sort of thing, if you're open to it. So my mum and her sister went over, and my mum knew she was legit from the second she opened the door, because she turned around and said, "Hi, Bubbles," which is what my granddad used to call my mum. And this woman knew nothing about my mum. So they went in, had a conversation. A lot of my granddad came through, and then she randomly just come out with, "Your daughter's been seeing a man at the end of her bed. I just want you to know that it's not all in her head. This is a real thing. It's your current husband's great-great-grandfather, and he has a message, but he won't pass the message on to your daughter because he knows that she's afraid." So every time I saw him, it's such a childlike thing, but my instant reaction would be to put my duvet over my head, because if I can't see him, he can't see me anymore. And I would go to sleep like that.
That's a natural child thing, you know.
Yeah. So that's how I would go to sleep most nights, because I knew he would be sat there. But he wasn't doing anything. He would just be sat at the end of my bed holding something on his lap, which I always interpreted as what looked like a gift or a box of some kind, and a teddy. Also, I used to see a woman in the hallways as well, but the lady my mum went to go and see said that apparently the woman is considered unknown. She didn't know her name or anything like that, but she is there. Whether she's connected to the land or something, we're not 100% sure. Behind our house as well, literally, you had our garden, an alleyway to the access of the back of the garden, and then a graveyard to a church. I think it was called St. Egbert's Church. And there was a huge graveyard behind there. So she could have been connected to that. We're not 100% sure. And yeah, that's kind of where it started for me. I mean, with Hollie, did you want to pull links over? You can have your leg on them, and then you can tell them your side of this, your kind of start your paranormal journey. Hey, Baba. Hang on, she's just coming over.
That's fine. We're friends, you said it. Hey, adult.
So yeah, to start my paranormal journey, I was probably about 9 years old when I saw my first full apparition. I was in school at the time. I remember it so vividly. It was like a round head, and yeah, I was absolutely petrified and told the teachers. Nobody believed me. My dad was the only one that did believe me, bless him. And it petrified him afterwards. He wouldn't sleep with the lights off. And it was just from then on, really. Like, I was just fully into it. Like, I was like, well, if this is happening, then there's got to be more out there. And yeah, really got into investigations into my 20s. And then, yeah, found the group that we go with now, which is awesome.
Eileen said Eileen did the same thing when she was a child. I wasn't scared of my old man. He seemed kind, but nobody believed me either. After consulting my book, Greyfriars used to have the bells over the graves. However, I can't see any info that they are still there. I don't know. Do you know what? I can ask Jamie Kistorfin. Jamie Kistorfin runs Sight of the Dead tours in Edinburgh. We're quite friendly with him. So I'm going to drop him a mail, and I'm going to ask Jamie. He'll be able to tell me better.
Like I said, I saw it. I'm pretty adamant it was on a Ghost Adventures episode. So I'll have a look on the Edinburgh tour that they did and see if I can find it.
That's fine, though. By the way, folks, this is their first ever podcast, so I need to thank them for making us their first ever podcast. I think they're doing all right, actually. They're doing okay so far. You know.
It's the wine. It's the wine. It's confidence.
I never mentioned that. I wasn't telling anybody. I was going to say it was blackcurrant. They're drinking blackcurrant juice. Well, she's finished hers. That looked like an empty glass there.
Hollie's just refilling me right now.
See, I was going to bring that subject up, you know, but the secret is so that's it. Use a bugger, but they're doing really well. I must say they are doing really well. But so the two of you kind of clicked. Do you think you hear about this quite often? You know, you bump into somebody. I was on with Debbie Ison and Matthew Hopkins last night, and we were talking about how you meet people in life, but we were talking about the opposite side, how you meet people and you just suddenly you despise them, you hate them for no reason at all. They've never done anything to you. You've never met them before, but you just look at me and think, I don't like you. But we used to, as you know, then you get the other side of the coin, and as two people meet and they just click. Do you think you were kind of destined to meet? I know that sounds kind of cheesy, you know, we were destined to meet and all that, but do you think maybe spirit was pulling the two years together?
Quite possibly. I mean, like, when it's really weird actually, because Steve started at Daft, didn't he?
Yeah.
And him and my husband and her partner became pretty much best friends straight away, didn't they, when he started there? And then that's when my husband Steve turned around and was like, Barlow's partner is really into like the ghosty paranormal stuff too. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is cool, you know, like, okay, let's meet. And then the first night we met, it was a little bit awkward at first, wasn't it? We were kind of quiet between each other, but then once the wine got flowing,
do you drink wine a lot?
No.
I'm putting you on the spot here. I'm just going to ask you these. You know, no, not a lot.
It was the Euros. Like
it was the Euro. Yeah, we were on red wine. Red wine gets us tipsy very quickly. Okay. So yeah, we were on the red wine, and we were pretty mortal pretty quick.
We had to stay the night.
Yeah, you stayed the night. You were quite ill that night. But then from there, we were kind of inseparable, weren't we?
Yeah.
Like I came to your house.
Yeah, it was definitely destiny. Like destiny, I think. Yeah, destiny definitely brings everybody together when the time is right.
I'm 100% a believer of fate. I think it was fate that we both met because of Steve and Barlow.
Yeah, definitely.
And we both have the same interests and everything. Like we've always said that we're kind of like soul sisters. Like I see her as my sister.
Well, that's Island just says they say that old souls reunite in new lives. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Laura's saying, and Ghost Adventures did great friends. I remember that episode because they blamed the haunting of the Covenanters prison to that of George Mackenzie, which infuriated me.
Mackenzie rings about 100%. But yeah, if you look at that episode, I'm pretty sure they point out it's either a concrete bit above the grave that used to have a bell, or it still has the bell but no rope. Something like that. But he definitely tells the story of the bell and like where it comes from and like saved by the bell and all that sort of stuff and where the phrase comes from.
That's where the phrase originally came from.
Yeah.
So obviously you and Hollie realise, you know, you're into the same thing. Have you, since you started, you know, in the parrot, have you found that a lot of people are interested in it? That's what I found, and I found it quite amazing actually, the amount of people that are actually into the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole separate community.
So
if that makes sense.
Yeah, we've kind of had a mixture really, like especially with you in the comments. Sometimes you'll get people that are really into it but have never done ghost hunting, ask our personal opinions on what we think of the paranormal and what we do when we go on ghost hunts, and then you've got people that are complete skeptics. I find the best way to kind of get people not necessarily on board, but kind of be like, okay, you want to do a ghost hunt just to see if it's real, that sort of thing. I'm a firm believer. I've seen too much in my life to not think it's real, and the same goes for Holly. But every time we go on a ghost hunt, we walk in as skeptics.
Mhm.
So we are a skeptic the second we're in a new location. And until we're proven otherwise, we're not 100% sure whether the location is actually haunted or not, or whether it's just a creepy location and it's used for ghost hunts because of the creepiness, if you will. But there have been places that we've been where we've had loads of activity, like the Valiant Soldier in Buckfast Sleep. We've had quite a bit in there, which was amazing. Through the spirit box, it was coming through with names and stuff, and then we found on the walls with the pictures and stuff like that the names that was coming through the spirit box were on these photos, and it was just mind-blowing. We've caught photos like the California Inn the last time, wasn't it? You caught like that weird, it was like a skull or something, and it's almost like a medicine man, wasn't it? But it was like a skull featured head, and it was popping around like the door frame. It's basically like a dining room, but it's really hard to explain, isn't it? It's like a dining room and another dining room. They're not completely separate, but they have like door frames in between, but no doors. Does that make sense? Like an archway.
Aye. I heard there used to be a door there.
Yeah. I'll share the photo to you so you can see it after this. But that was a really interesting capture. We even had photos afterwards and stuff. There was nothing at all that could mimic it. It's really odd. We've caught apparitions at Trinity multiple times. And I mean, the background story to that is just amazing in itself. Have you ever heard of the book, The Hounds of Baskervilles?
Aye.
By Arthur Conan Doyle. So there's a character in that book called Squire Cable. That character is real. He's a real man. And he's actually buried in one of the tombs outside of Holy Trinity Church in Buckfast Sleep. I think I've told you about this church before. I'm not 100% sure. I was like, if you ever come down this way or this far south, because obviously it's a bloody long way, we'll definitely take you there, 100%. But in I think it was the late 80s, there was a first attempt of arson, which failed. And then in 1992, there was a second attempt of arson under the main altar of the church, which was successful and completely burnt the church down. And now there is just a shell of the church. And the story goes it was burnt down by supposed Satanists. Where they did the rituals is the only part of the building that still has a roof. It's just breathtaking there. It's beautiful, isn't it? But it's so silent there. It's creepy. It's everything any ghost hunter would ever want. It's awesome.
It ticks all the boxes, basically.
Oh, 100%, including activity. It's amazing.
So is that the capture you were talking about there? Is it because Laura's asking the best piece of evidence you've captured? Would that be your best piece that you've captured?
I would say the first apparition we caught at Trinity was probably the best we've ever captured. I mean, the apparition that we caught, it was only three of us. It was myself, another lady called Jo, and a man called Rich. Again, I can show you their photos and stuff like that. I'll send them to you afterwards. But the apparition photo that we got is of what looks like maybe a man in his, would you say 30s? 30s odd, maybe like a what do you call them? Not like a groundskeeper, but for graveyards.
Oh, a grave digger kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah, or like a gatekeeper, that sort of thing. But it's weird. He has he's in color. It's really odd. He has it was pitch black when we took it. He has a brownie sort of cloak on. You could see the color of his face. I don't know whether it's like a dread or something going down his face here. Very clearly a man. And it looks like he's holding a lantern of some kind, but it's emitting light, which is amazing because it was pitch black when I took it. And when I send you the photos of the guys as well, you'll come to obviously realize that it is most definitely none of us. As soon as we took the photo and we reviewed it, we were like, who the hell is that? But there's other shapes and mists and features and stuff in the photo as well, which we can personally see different things. Other people that have seen the photo for the first time see different things. It's really unusual. And then there's photos we took afterwards as well, which one of them, there's loads of like pinky mists, and then you can see what looks like a silhouette of the man walking away. You can just see like the silhouette of his head and shoulders. The rest of him has just disappeared. And then there's another 2 photos we took, which were, it's almost like as if a flash was on and someone's gone really close to the camera. And you know, like when a hand goes bright white because it's so close to the camera when a flash is on. It's kind of like that. And you could see small breaks in the photo of like where the pinky mists were. It's really unusual, really weird. But that was probably the most interesting and probably most amazing evidence we've captured yet.
It's when you get photos with that, you know, I only seen one can never say definitely that anything's paranormal. Just with that, we always just say it's unexplained because you can't, you know, I think bang on, you can't prove it's 100% paranormal. You do get groups and monkeys out there that say that's definitely paranormal and, you know, all that, but it's no. You were saying with the, you know, it was dark and it was, the photograph was showing off light basically, and it's when you get a photo. We had a photo like that. I don't know if we're still going, I know, but took it a few years ago. We were investigating a place called Dalcohan in Ayrshire, up where we live, and it's a big old manor house. This place is huge. I've got a photo of the actual. I'll send you the photo of the house. I don't know if I've still got the actual photo, but we were up there with I don't know if you know Charlie and Roxy. It used to be on the Haunted Hunts. Did you ever watch the Haunted Hunts? They used to be on TV, but they came up, we were investigating with them. No, the Haunted Hunts, just with Charlie and Roxy. This was after they left them. And it's a massive big courtyard outside this house, and it was pitch black. So I was taking a couple of photographs. And when I looked at the photographs later, on the second floor, one of the windows in the second floor, you could see a light. Now, there's no floors in this building. You've got the ground floor and the basement, but there's no other floors. The floor's all gone.
Oh, wow.
But on the second floor, you could clearly see a light. And if somebody had been standing there shining a light, which is impossible because there are no floors, we would have seen it. Because it was, there's the 2 of them together now. There's Hollie finally joined us again. So it's when you get photographs like that, I think, well, can somebody explain that one to me?
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of same as yourself. What about you, Hollie? I'm going to ask you, have you ever had a sort of I'm never going back there moment?
Have you ever had like a I'm never going back there moment? Like
not yet, to be honest. No. Yeah, yet to have that moment.
I mean, there was a moment in Valiant Soldier, actually. You said you literally couldn't breathe, and you're like she had to leave the room.
I had to leave the room. Yeah, we're in the smokers bar, like which was the smokers bar.
You have just explaining the Valiant Soldier. So it's the 60s. It's 60s, isn't it?
Yeah, 60s.
60s pub, and down below in the bar area. So back in those days, women had ladies' room, and then men had the bar. And obviously, when it comes to drinks and stuff, the women weren't allowed in the bar. The men would bring the drinks to the women, and they would be in their own section. So we were in the bar at this point, like the men's side, when Hollie was having this experience.
Yeah, and like I just could not breathe. It was the strangest sensation, then I had to leave the room for a little bit. But yeah, like that, like I went back in, but
And it happened again, didn't it?
it happened again, yeah. So we left it for a little bit.
Yeah, but the way that like you explained it as well was like it's as if like there was heavy smoking in the room,
Yeah,
and there was so much smoke that when you just can't
breathe.
Yeah.
So do you think that was maybe spirits in there telling you, Hollie, you're not meant to be in here. This is where the men hang out, get out kind of thing?
Yeah, like I think so, yeah, because that's where the women weren't supposed to be, and I'm obviously a woman in the bar. I think I was behind the bar at the time as well.
No,
I was in the front.
You were on the bench,
I was on
near
the
window.
bench, yeah.
I was behind the bar.
And the second time I was behind the bar.
Awesome.
But yeah, the first time I was in front of the bar. So yeah, absolutely. I think that it was something telling me that you shouldn't be in here.
But I was saying ladies drank in the snug or saloon. I remember those days. You're not that old, Eileen. Come on. You're still a young chicken. Sure you don't remember being there, doll. So how do you... Have you got a certain style of investigating, or do you just go in and take it as it comes?
In my person, I just take it as it comes.
Yeah,
personally, it's kind of like like Hollie is a huge empath, and she can read straight away as soon as she goes into a building, the energy, the emotions, everything.
Yeah,
We're still trying to figure out what I'm about.
yeah.
And the closest we've got is clairsentience, isn't it?
Yeah, clairsentience.
So basically, I'm not clairvoyant or anything like that. I'm not medium. I can't talk. Well, I don't think I can talk to the dead, and I don't see them on a regular basis. I can still see things, but it's not very often. But when I go into a specific location, sometimes the best way I can explain it is if I was to, I don't know, for example, make you think of a memory from last weekend. Say you went to go and see a family member or something like that. And then that exact memory of you having, I don't know, breakfast with that family member, you planting that in my brain. That's basically what happens. Is I can go into a location. It's like they plant a memory in my brain, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm seeing this picture, and it's kind of moving, but this is what I'm seeing. Does this make sense? But I just don't like. I'm not 100%. I can't put on my finger on it. What I can do? Yeah, I'm still exploring everything. Yeah, I'm still kind of exploring like what I can do. I don't know yet.
See, I know what you mean. I've been told by a couple of people, I mean, that I'm a sensitive, but I don't bother, with, I'm not psychic or sensitive or, or anything like that. I do at times go to locations and I wouldn't say you can see people, but you can see them up here standing about, or you can feel them.
Yeah.
And there has been the odd occasion where I'll come up with a name or something like that. I remember once there's a girl called Natalie Gardner, she's from Wales, Ghost Rambler she runs, and she used to send me photographs. She sent me a photograph of a church once, and I says to her that there's mass graves in that graveyard. She didn't tell me where it was or anything. I said, I'm just getting the feeling that there's mass graves over to the side of that grave. So she went and did some research, and she came back. She says, you were spot on. There is plague victims buried in mass graves just near the edge of the kirkyard. Another time she sent me a photo. It was the side view of an old building, and I says to her, there's a lady standing in the upstairs window, and the only way I can describe it is she looks very Downtown Abbey, hair all pulled back, long nose kind of thing. And Natalie came back to me, she said, how did you know that? Because she's had my pal who's a medium was with me, and she described the same thing. The exact same lady as you're describing. No, so I know what you mean, Ashley. You don't know how, you pick it up or whatever, but it just kind of like it comes to me.
Yeah,
That makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah, kind of. I haven't got a label for what I can do, but like I deal with it in the moment. So I'm honest with you, aren't I? Where I'm like, this is what I've seen. I don't know whether this resonates, but just know that I've told you. And if I bring it up later on and someone else brings up something that is exactly the same as what I've told Holly, I've got her as a witness to be like, I told you this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And we could be like more legitimate. Whereas like because it's all still kind of new to me and discovering myself. I've even told you, haven't I, where I kind of worry people are going to judge me or think, oh, she's making it up or something like that. Hence why Holly's kind of like my diary. I just kind of tell you everything, don't I? And then I'm like, well, I told Holly this at the start of the night, and now you've said this, so this is exactly the same. Like,
I know you're always weary in case people, as you say, people do think you're making, especially when it's anything to do with the paranormal. You know, I mean, anybody can turn around and say that they're a medium. You know, God knows how many folk out there say, you know, I'm a medium. You know, and they talk a load of crap, basically. So you do get kind of weary of telling people for the fact that they might not believe you, they might laugh at you. I think you're just attention seeking, basically.
Yeah.
You know, so it's good that you and Holly have that connection that you can say to her, look, I seen a guy in the corner, you know, whatever. And if it comes out later on, then Holly knows that you're no talking BS, basically. Laura's a question.
I trust Holly 100%. Like I know she would back me up. So that's why I always talk to you about everything.
Now, I don't know if that's the wine talking, Holly, or she actually means it.
Yeah,
I do mean it.
I mean it too. I trust you too.
Oh, bless, look at that. That's friendship. That's friendship for you right there. Laura's asking, do you research your locations before you go?
Oh, well, hang on. Do you research your No.
No, never.
No, we don't. So we'd like to go anytime we go to a new location. We purposely don't research a location. So then we walk into that location as a completely open book. We want to know nothing about it. That way, then, if anything does happen after the location, that's when we start researching it and stuff and being like, okay, does any of this stuff add up that this person said, that I've seen, that Holly has seen? That way, then we can kind of like legitimately piece together what's happening and like the evidence that we've recorded as well. Is it adding up to what the history is to this specific location? The wine's getting to my head.
I know what you mean. There's a queer feeling when you're in an active location. There is a queer feeling. You walk into some locations, and as soon as you walk in the door of the gate, you can just feel, you know, an atmosphere. I'm not talking about demons and all that crap. You just feel there's a certain atmosphere in the place. Not threatening, you know, just if you're being watched, or if you're kind of going back in time sort of thing. Laura says, same as me, I'm no medium, but one night on a live, the Goo Gang was in. I didn't know where they were, but I could see chickens and pens and monks. Apparently, I was spot on. Can't explain that. You can't explain it. You know, it just pops into your head.
Yeah.
And you say, you know, where the hell's that came from? And you are wary of telling people. The same as, I don't know what it's like down there, but do you find it down there that there's a lot of people into the paranormal, but they'll not admit it?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Fulford Manor, there was a couple of skeptics and stuff.
Yeah, there was.
So you're saying about like how there's people down here that don't admit that they're into the paranormal, but do semi-believe in it.
Yeah, like I've not personally come across, I don't think, anyone like that.
No, when we went to Fulford, there was a man who was talking to me, and he was like, I'm a complete skeptic. because my girlfriend's a full believer and she wanted me to come along and stuff like that. Like I took Stephen to Trini.
Yeah.
And
so sweet.
he found nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, to be honest, it's a really crowded night. So I was like, it's really overwhelming. And I was like, there's so many people here that nothing's going to happen. You're not going to find anything with like 30 odd people there.
No.
And all the noise pollution and everything. It's like, how do you expect to find anything when 1 minute we're talking about a bit like the podcast, and the next minute we're talking about what we ate last week.
Yeah.
It can be so easily mixed up, but when you're in a smaller group, I find so much more happens, and it's more personal, and it's not so overwhelming for the energy, the spirits and stuff around us, and they come to communicate a bit more. Just imagine, like, sorry to go off topic, but like you walk into a room of like 30 or 40 people, you're gonna feel really out of place and really awkward. Yeah, you don't know those people.
No.
Whereas if there's like 3 or 4 people that have come to your house to say hi to you, you'd feel a bit more welcomed, a bit more intrigued to go and say hi.
Yeah.
Like that's how I see a ghost hunt. If it's overcrowded, overwhelming, you're not going to get a lot. And unfortunately for Steve, there was nothing that night. He was like, we're just walking around a graveyard at a creepy church in the middle of the night.
He's a complete skeptic.
He's a complete skeptic.
Yeah.
My husband's a complete skeptic.
So he doesn't believe it. But I know what Eileen's saying, like I said, folks start yapping about experience once they engage with you. I think once you've opened that door, basically, you meet somebody who's into paranormal, same as you can sit and yak.
Yeah.
But it's just taking that getting through that initial door. Today I visited my mum. She sent me upstairs to get nail varnish. I'm assuming that must be which I shared with T's her daughter. But coming down the stairs, my mother's dog, who passed away when I was 15, passed me on the stairs. Laura can see, animal kicking about. But I totally agree with you, Ashley. I think the more people that are there in investigation, like see, we did the Ivy House a couple of years ago, and there was about 10 of us or something. The Ivy House is down near Warrington. There was 10 of us, and Charlie and Rox were there with one of their friends. There was another couple there, so there must have been, I don't know, about 20 there in total. And it's an old abandoned house, so there was quite a few people, and we hardly get anything. But it's like maybe if we'd been in there with just 2 or 3 people,
we
might have got a better response, maybe.
Yeah.
We made a point last time at California Inn. I said to you, didn't I, before, there must have been like 20 odd people there when I went with Johnny the first time when you didn't come.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, not an awful lot happened. But there was only maybe like 10 of us.
Yeah.
The second time we went with Hollie, and there was so much stuff that happened. Like, it was off the charts. The EMF detectors were really odd. Like, I've got it on videos on our TikTok. But there was just huge waves of energy, wasn't there? And there were like 3 or 4 on separate tables, EMF detectors that were on red. They weren't flickering. They were just continuously on red. It was really weird. And it would stay like that for like a couple minutes, then die off, and then suddenly come back, wouldn't it? And like all electric was turned off in this place. I think it's the 12th century coaching inn, something like that. And I've never seen anything like that in my life. Even like it wasn't near any walls and stuff with like electrical wires or anything like that. These were on pub tables. It was really weird. And that's when you got that photo of that weird skull thing.
Yeah.
The mag light was going crazy. We got some weird stuff with the spirit box at the like original part of the building as well.
Yeah, we got some German coming through.
German, yeah. The Estes method was amazing that night.
It was just an incredible night. Like, best night.
But we have that one again on the 21st, and hopefully we will be live streaming that one if you wanted to join. But yeah, it's awesome. It was so good.
If he's alive in I'll be watching. I limit numbers on investigations because of distractions, chatting, and lack of direction focus. That's right. I mean, if you get, say you get 20 people in that one room or that one space, no everybody's going to be standing quiet. You know, people are going to be whispering to each other or whatever. And if you're, and what you think as an EVP could be two people at the back whispering.
Yeah, totally agree. Like, I've always found with the larger amount of groups, you have more noise pollution, whether that be somebody moving around in a chair creaking or something like that. Like, you might not hear that in the moment, but when you look back on the EVP, you're like, oh my God, I heard a creak.
Yeah.
That could have been a door, that could have been this, but it wasn't. It's like, or again, like you said, whispering and stuff can be caught on the EVP, and we might not have heard it in the moment, but there's 20 odd people in the group, and because you're so focused on trying to hear something paranormal, you don't hear that.
Yeah.
And then you think, oh my God, did I catch something? Whereas when you have, like, for example, me and Hollie have plans to rent out Nuns Cross at some point with just 4 people. Last time we went, I think there was roughly like 15, maybe 10.
Maybe
No,
10, maybe wrong. Yeah, 10, 12.
Yeah, 12, maybe something like that. And even with them, like we caught quite a few bits and pieces, but it wasn't like as active as we thought it was going to be. But we think that if we were to rent it out with just 4 of us, it's going to be insane. We think that it has so much more potential, because it isn't a massive house, is it? It's basically a 4-roomed house. There's like a living area, a bar-ish area that has like bench tables and stuff, and then you've got the kitchen, which we didn't investigate because that was kind of like hub. And then you go upstairs, there's 2 main bedrooms and a small box room. We didn't investigate the box room, but we did the 2 bigger rooms, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they all have like metallic like bunking, like camping beds, that sort of thing, but they were like bunk beds. So you can stay the night as well, and that's kind of our goal.
Yeah, that's our goal.
We're gonna stay the night.
You need to do that as a live if you're going to do an overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the plan. Is we'll film on something else, and I don't know, even if it's on my phone or something, we'll do a live. But the problem is there is 0 electricity in that place, and it's in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of Dartmoor, in the middle of nowhere, National Park. To put it this way, from the car park that we were at, it's about a 25 to 30 minute walk to the farmhouse. It's like walking on Mars. There is nothing, absolutely nothing. That's probably, to be honest, there was like Hollie said, about 12 odd people there. I found, even though not an awful lot paranormal happened that night, the most unnerving thing was how secluded we were, like how far away we were from civilization. It was just pure nothernness around us, complete silence, nothing but fields. Honestly, it was so unnerving. It's really weird. Like I don't think I've ever felt uncomfortable about being in a location because there's nothing. If we were to scream, no one would hear us.
Nobody's coming to help you.
Yeah, exactly that.
I would love some. We've got a few locations where that up here, but I find that daycare. I'm watching the time. I know you need, but it's just after 10, so we'll wind up in about 5 minutes. But do you find that places like that are in the middle of nowhere or off the beaten track are usually the most active places that people don't usually go to or don't know that's there?
This is what I mean. So if we were in a smaller group, I think that place had so much more potential.
Yeah.
It's the same with Valiant Soldier, like we told you about that 60s pub. a lot of the time we've gone there, they say there's going to be a smaller group, but they still invite like 15, 20 people, don't they? And like we even have plans with another group again to have about 4 or 5 people there, and we think it's got so much more potential. But the energy that we bring in is so overwhelming. Like I said, if you were to walk into a living room, like Hollie's living room right now, and there was 30 people in here and you didn't know any of them, you would instantly feel really uncomfortable and you wouldn't want to talk to anybody. You're just going to be stood in the corner like, what the hell is happening? But if there was 4 people sat on your sofa and they were welcoming and they were like, hi, come and talk to us, you would feel a bit more comfortable.
I'd be more inclined to approach them, to talk to them. We've had that. We do a place called Loudon Kirk. We've been doing it for about, I don't know, 4 years now. Eileen's been with us there as well. And we've had a lot of activity over the, I've lost track of the amount of investigation we've done, but we've had loads of activity. But there's nights where we go there and we'll get, a little bit of activity. We always get something, But there's a couple of times we went with maybe, a big group of people, and we know the spirits are there. It's a kind of place that you walk in and you know there's individuals standing about. And I only say too many people can turn into a bit of a circus. And so we've done this location with quite a few people, and there's been very little. And exactly, there's been too many people there. Plus, I always think, we always feel that you need to let spirit get time to know you.
Yeah, 100%.
Some people have asked us, why do you keep going back to the same location, Loudon Kirk? We have done other ones as a one-off here and there, same as everybody has. But I try to tell them, well, we've been doing that for X amount of time now, and we're building up a relationship with the spirits. It took us about a year before we kind of get any real response at this location. But we've built up quite a few names, their history and all the rest of it. And see, we're not to prove the paranormal. We're not going to be the one that wave the flag and say, right, we've proved it. We're there to try and build up a relationship with whoever might be there, and learn about them, their life, what life was like back in their time, kind of thing. And to me, that's important.
Our aim, which we've spoken about in the past, with Project Paranormal, is to do group work, but more intimate group work. So we want people to have a valid, real experience with the paranormal. If we know of a paranormal location that has constant activity, like say Nuns Cross is really good for us with the 4 people. Eventually, say the 2 of us take 4 people as a group to Nuns Cross, so there'll be only 6 of us. We might even step back a little bit and let them do their own little thing, that sort of thing, to make it more intimate and more realistic for them to have their own personal experience, because we've already had a personal experience with that location. That's why we've taken them there. Rather than do what a lot of groups do and take 15, 20, even up to 30 odd people to a prison or something like that. And you find that, I've even been in groups and stuff like that. And you find, even though you are going on a paranormal investigation, like I went to Drakelow Tunnels in, I think it was like 2017. Huge location. But there was like 30 odd people there. They let us separate at the end of the night. Me and my mum, because it was just us 2, me and my mum went and did our own thing, but we could constantly hear people talking down the tunnels, so we didn't know what was paranormal and what wasn't. It was a cool experience, but at the same time, it wasn't what I was looking for. It kind of ruined the experience for me, because you want to hear stuff, you want to find evidence and stuff like that, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. It was just, we went to some tunnels and we found some spooky stuff, and that's probably about it. It was pitch black.
I know exactly. I mean, there's a big difference. I only see a big difference between an event and investigation. You go to an event, now no disrespect to anybody that holds events, we don't do them. You go to an event and say there's 20, 30 people there. You are on an investigation, technically, but you're not investigating.
No, exactly.
You know, I've watched a few of these events, and they've got the big crowd of people in this one room, and they'll say, right, this is a K2, and this is blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
it's the people doing the event that use all the gadgets, and everybody's just standing about watching. Now, if I was paying to go to one of these things, I'd be wanting to say, right, well, give me one of them and one of them, and let me go somewhere and
Yeah.
let me have that experience.
Yeah, because you want to make
Yeah.
it as personal as possible, because you find with the larger groups you don't get an awful lot. Whereas when
Aye.
you make a personal experience, even in a smaller group, you get so much more from it.
And it can put a lot of people off. I mean, these events, I only saying events are all about making money. Some people use these events as an introduction to the paranormal.
Yeah.
They don't want to go out themselves, so they say, well, all right, I'm going to go with an experienced group. So they go to this event and it turns out rubbish. So they go home, with a big deflated, whatever you want to call it, and they think, that was crap. And that's it. They never try again.
Yeah, see, that's what we don't want, is in the
Yeah.
future, we want to build a platform that's good enough that we will be able to give them an intimate experience with the paranormal and do their own thing in such a small group and have a raw experience with like evidence that they've captured and stuff like that, and stuff that they can't explain.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want. We don't want to be one of those other groups, like every other group that take on loads of people and don't get anything from it. And like you said, feel a bit like me from the Drake Tunnels, feeling deflated because you're like, oh, well, I haven't caught anything paranormal. But
Aye.
it was creepy and it was cool. It was a cool experience. And yeah, it was really dark and stuff like that. But I didn't really get an awful lot because we could hear everybody else in the background.
There was too many people. In my mind, the best way to do it, and I'm not an expert by any means, the best way to do it is, get 4 or 5 people, bring them in, show them the different gadgets, and just give them, maybe a 10-minute rundown of what they're for, and then say to them, right, there you go, you take them, and away you go up the stairs, and I'll see you in an hour, or,
Yeah.
wherever, go down that tunnel, and we'll stay here, and you go off and see you in about an hour, and tell me how you got on. Just let them go and do their own thing. With no distractions, nobody close by or, anything like that. But that's just my opinion, because I think it can put a lot of people off going to enter, future. I think the best way to do it is just to venture out on your own. Take a torch and your phone and go to a graveyard or wherever you might go and just see what happens.
Personal experience, 100%.
People says to me, well, get any advice for starting investigating? I say, well, my big bit of advice is don't expect anything. Just go, but don't expect anything.
Yeah. Go as an open book, go as a skeptic, and walk out with whatever evidence you've collected. And obviously, if you can't explain it, then you're like, ooh, okay.
Aye.
Cool.
I always say we all investigate. There's no we do it and you watch things. I know I've say that I've watched some other groups who shall remain nameless, and this is the way they work. They do all the investigating, and it's what they've got an audience. And think, no, I would just get him. I wouldn't bother with that again. But I'll wind it up there, ladies, because I know Ashley, you're getting a lift very, very soon.
Yeah.
He's froze there for a wee second or two. But I want to bring his back because we've got lots more to talk about. But after we come, I'll hold on to you for a wee second after we come off, so don't press any buttons. So where can people find you?
So you can find us on TikTok at Project Paranormal 222. We also have Facebook as well at Project Paranormal, and we do have YouTube as well, which is also at Project Paranormal. Some of them might be an underscore, but I could always, we do have it in our TikTok bio as well, like our YouTube and everything. So if you wanted to find our YouTube, then it's all right. It's facing us, Barlow. Hollie's partner's just come through, and he was like, ducking, so then he couldn't be seen in the camera, but he didn't realise it was facing us.
The fucking wall. Hey, Dougie.
Hey, Dougie. I'm so sorry.
It's fine, though. So go and get Night Island, Doc. I'll be talking to you soon, Doc. And great chat, ladies. Like that's Laura. Laura, I actually speak to you tomorrow, dear. But go and give the girls a look up. You will be seeing them back again very soon.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely be back again. We come back. But thank you so much for giving us this opportunity for coming on your podcast. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. We say don't go anywhere or hang on you just for a wee second after we come off. So we'll wind up there, folks. A big thanks to these two ladies, and I'm on back on tomorrow night with Tarek Tracy. We were winding up our Tudor series. We're not winding up. We're going to be talking about Henry VIII's last two wives, Catherine Howard and Catherine Parr, and what happened to them, basically. So that's tomorrow night. But you'll be seeing these two right there. You'll be seeing these two again. And
we're friends now. You're not getting rid of us.
That sounds kind of... Seeing people say that to you, I think that sounds kind of creepy. You're not getting rid of me now. You know what I mean?
You're not getting rid of us now.
You've
already done one podcast. We're going to be back.
It's when somebody texts you and say, "Can you close your curtains, please?" I mean, that's creepy.
I know.
Did that just freak you out? You know. I'll talk to you soon, Island Dog. So we'll wind up there, folks. You'll see these two again, and I'll see you tomorrow night. All right, folks. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.